this time with Iran. Joining me now, Republican Tennessee Senator Bill Hagerty. Senator Graham has also said that this is a holy war, Senator Hagerty. I mean, I think when I start hearing that, I get concerned. Are you?
Well, I've been concerned initially about how this administration has handled it. I mean, first, communications out of this Biden administration were that the Israelis should not retaliate. Then Secretary Blinken says he wants a ceasefire. What Biden finally came out and said a few days too late is that he acknowledged Israel's right to defend itself. He didn't say that the United States should go to war on Israel's behalf, but he acknowledged Israel's right to defend itself. And Israel has imminent capability to deal with Hamas. We just need to stand back and give them the moral support to deal with this, give them the headroom to deal with Hamas.
To my point, right. But to my point, Senator, sorry to interrupt you, but to my point, that's not quite what Lindsey Graham is saying. He's going beyond that. Of course we support Israel's right to do what it needs to do to Hamas and get those hostages back and make sure this never happens again. I mean, that's their inherent right to do that. But when you listen to what Lindsey Graham is saying, this seems to be moving into a much wider campaign. And given the complexity of the situation in the Middle East, is that the way for America to be leaning right now?
Here's what we should do, Laura, and I believe this with every bit of my soul. We should go back to the policies that were working. You know, I served in the previous administration. President Trump saw right through the fallacies of the JCPOA and pulled us out of the flawed Iran deal. He did that at a time when we really began to exert immense pressure on the Iranian regime. You recall the pallets of cash that Obama sent over. But those pallets of cash burnt through. My job as ambassador to Japan was get the Japanese to stop buying Iranian crude. We did this around the world. We brought Iran almost to its knees. That choked off Hamas. It choked off Hezbollah. You saw news reports back during the Trump administration that they were going broke. That's exactly what we need to revert to doing, snapping back every sanction that's in place that could be snapped back, imposing massive economic sanctions on Iran, because Iran is the river of terror that flows through the region, and they're supporting these proxies like Hamas that have created so much damage.
Now, I want to get your reaction to a story about a former Biden administration envoy to Iran, Rob Malley. The New York Post broke this story with former State Department officials who claim that Malley and his team purposefully funneled billions of dollars to Iran through lack of sanctions enforcement and provision of sanctions relief that's given them somewhere between $50 and $80 billion over the last 2.5 years. Senator, your reaction to that report?
Well, Malley's security clearances have been pulled. He's under FBI investigation. He's part of the Iranian influence regime that's in the State Department at DOD. The numbers I've seen are up to $80 billion, Laura, of sanctions relief that he basically allowed by not enforcing the sanctions on illegal Iranian oil sales. Another $10 billion that were okayed from Iraq to go to Iran. This $6 billion that everybody's focused on right now is just the tip of the iceberg. We've enriched them, and the results of this is the terror that you've seen unfold in Israel.
Well, Senator, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it.